Waffle Muffin asks,
is it cheaper to live in South Korea than in North America? I found out with your FatFaps food is generally cheaper. Is it like this with other expenses as well?
the food expense question. What you looking at, mister? Hey, what are you doing?
Okay,
You got the
good.
crazies?
I don't have the
Guys,
crazy
we've got a
idea.
little bit of the crazies.
We got some crazes.
Dr. Memersworth has been keeping us awake at night by being like, hey, I'm a kitty. Hey.
So we're a little bit sleep deprived.
It's like we have a baby. We do have a baby. Furry baby kitten.
Expenses!
Back to expenses.
Okay, so to answer your question very generally, I'm going to say yes.
So that's it for this week's TLDR.
We can get into more detail if you want about how
Yeah.
things are cheaper. Not everything is cheaper in South Korea, but we find that generally the cost of living here is cheaper than in North America.
So we're from Toronto, Canada, and so we can only go from that perspective.
And then again, not every part of North America has the same cost of living. Toronto might be more expensive than other parts of America or whatnot. So I'm not sure about where you're specifically from. We can only speak from our perspective.
Let's start with something easy like transportation. Now, we don't actually drive a car, so we don't know about like insurance for cars or gas costs and stuff like that.
So we can't comment on that.
No, we have a scooter and it's really, really cheap. So we're
We
not
can
going to talk
fill up
about
our
that.
scooter for like, it costs roughly $4 to fill the
Yeah.
tank and it lasts us a month.
Yeah,
so.
but we don't drive it that often.
Yeah.
So instead, let's look at something like the subway system and buses.
Okay.
The basic cost to get on the bus is 90 cents if you have like a little like swipe card.
900 won. So
900.
that's a little bit less than 90 cents.
Yeah, and if you want to pay just by cash, you're looking at a chonwon, so that's like $1 roughly.
Or roughly like 97 cents. My currency conversion isn't really accurate. Let's just say that it's almost like a dollar ratio, but it's a little bit less than that.
So that's just for like a one-way ticket.
Ticket one way, ticket one way.
But if you're not doing a one-way ticket and you have to go like a couple stops, or you're heading to another part of Seoul, it will charge you by distance. The most we've ever paid for the subway is probably like $1.90.
$1.90. So even
Maybe-
though it says we charge by distance, it's not a big amount of money
Yeah.
that you charge per distance. While what we're used to in Toronto is only two lines. There's like the east-west line and then there's a U line. And pretty much if you even go one stop over, it costs $3. It's really expensive to use the subway in Toronto.
I don't know what it's like in other cities, so you guys can please comment in the comment section so we can all complain together. But we 100% appreciate the Korean subway system here.
It is
Really well done.
Awesome. Next up is taxis. We take a lot of taxis because every time we go filming, we have a whole lot of gear like tripods and audio equipment and lenses and lights and whatnot. So we don't really want to bring that on the subway and take up an entire cart.
Especially since the subways are usually really packed, so it's kind of awkward for us to be like, oh, excuse me, is our cat in the sink?
We have a cat in the sink.
I'm a bad kitty in the
And
sink.
you're soaking wet.
We take taxis a lot. Now, if this was Canada and I said I take taxis a lot, you'd think that I'm pretty loaded because
Ballin'.
from our experience, taxis are very expensive in Canada. I remember taking only like a 15-minute ride in Canada and it cost me something like 40 to 50 bucks.
Yeah, the prices
really
go up in
grumpy.
really high increments, like a quarter.
Yeah,
is
they
it?
go
Or like,
by increments of quarters in Canada, while here in Korea they start at like 2,400 won, which is like $2.30 or so, and they go up by increments of 10 cents rather than a quarter.
So, for example, the regular three prices we work with, we do usually Bucheon to Hongdae.
Yep.
Depending on traffic, that costs us around 16 to 17 bucks.
Sometimes even 13 bucks.
That's on a good day when we're just like 15 minutes over the bridge into Seoul and we're like, Hongdae!
Boom! Otherwise, we often go to Itaewon from Bucheon, and that costs us roughly like 23, 22 bucks to get there.
And then if we go to like Gangnam or the Apgujeong area, that'll cost us close to 30. As soon as you hit like the Gangnam area, you get stuck in the worst traffic on the planet. We've gone at all different times of day. It doesn't matter. It's like there's constantly traffic going the one direction we're going.
That's right, Dr. Memesworth. Throw it down.
Don't you agree?
What else do you want to say about traffic?
Yeah, if you agree.
That's right. Oh, she made the jump.
She made the jump again. So to keep our cat occupied, we're gonna keep her on our shoulder from now so she stops meowing at us and drinking chemicals.
I'm not sure this is gonna work. All right, enough about transportation. What's it like to eat in Korea?
Answer, very cheap.
If you're looking at like a normal meal in Korea, there's something called kimbap Cheongguk or like kimbap Nara. It's kind of like Korean fast food, but I'm not talking about like hamburgers. Like they
None of
have
that.
McDonald's and they have Burger King and stuff. We're talking about Korean food made quickly and cheaply. The price range is between $1.50 and $6 is the most expensive thing we've ever seen,
But the
right?
thing that amazes me is that like for $1.50 you could get a kimbap roll which has actual nutritional value with real rice and real seaweed and real vegetables on the inside. I can't think of anything in North America that I could buy for $1.50 with nutritional value. Like for $1.50 you could get like a bag of chips. Can you get like what, like a sandwich? I don't think so. If you don't want to eat kimbap rolls the whole time, then there's so many other things you could get at Kimbap Cheongguk. The most we've ever paid is like $7 for like a super special set that has like 3 different things in it, but still like $7, no tax on top of that, no tipping on top of that, for like a full meal that would get you so stuffed.
Now we are talking about kind of like a fast food type chain, right? But if you want to go somewhere to like grill meat, like samgyeopsal or galbi or like chicken dishes, stuff with like lots of meat in it.
Or if you want some like fancy kind of cow cuts, then yes, you will be paying more money for that.
You're looking at around $9 to $15 a person, and they usually weigh things by grams, so you'll see like how much it weighs. So it's not like you're just getting some like random portion size wherever you go.
But still, it's not like you're dropping like 100 to 150.
If we dropped $150 out at a Korean restaurant,
I
like
think
in our
I'll buy us
neighborhood,
like a month worth of meat.
yeah, we would be eating for like 30 people, and like we'd be trashed and like
We'd
throwing
be
up
eating
everywhere.
like kings and queens.
Yeah, it's really great.
Now, when it comes to eating, the one thing that is more expensive in South Korea we found is the produce. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
surprisingly more expensive.
So-
we've seen watermelons for like 17 bucks, 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Avocados are not common to get here, but when we do find them, they're like 5 bucks an avocado.
One thing that's really good about Korea is that they don't really do seasonal stuff all year round.
Right.
They only do literally seasonal. So like you can get watermelon when it's in season. So it's expensive, but once it's out of season, that's it. Like right now, watermelons, we have like a couple left in the stores. It's gonna be gone. We can't just buy it all year round.
We gotta enjoy it while we can. Speaking of expensive fruit, we once ate a $48 mango by accident. We were grocery shopping and like we bought a whole bunch of meat, which we figured was gonna be expensive. And then we got a mango. We're like, wow, we haven't had a mango in a long time. Let's put this in the shopping cart, buy it and go home. And then we ate it and it's like, yeah, it's a little bit overripe. Wasn't really that great for mango, but at least we had a mango. And then we looked at the price at the bottom, 48000. That's 48,000 won.
And when I saw that, I was like, this must be $4.80. There's no
Must have been a
way.
mistake.
And the only reason we didn't know is because that day we had told ourselves in advance, we're gonna spend a lot of money on
We
meat.
knew this was
We're
gonna
gonna do it.
happen.
We're gonna buy salmon, fresh salmon. We're gonna buy beef.
Yep, buy it all.
Meanwhile, half of our bill was
A mango.
Now, not everyone's going to be coming to grocery shop in Korea.
Of
So
course.
what about things like shopping? That's usually a big one, like shoes and clothing, jewelry and accessories.
That's a little bit iffy. Sometimes it's more expensive, sometimes it's a lot less expensive, but it's difficult to say that one is like heavily in the favor of the other.
I personally will say one isn't heavily favored than the other. I would say that stuff is a lot cheaper because if you're looking for name brands are expensive anywhere you go. So if you go like shopping at the department stores, it's going to be pricey anywhere.
I've seen like $120 pair of Levi's here.
Yeah, but Levi's is a name brand and like Gucci's a name brand. But if I'm looking for name brand Subway clothing, I can get some quality shirts between $5 and $10.
They are quite the quality.
Hey, just because you can't buy cute Korean clothing, don't be jealous at me.
So I can't buy their shoes, and the shoes are so cheap. Now, I like to say cheap goes on both levels here. Cheap price, cheap quality, you know. But there's one
You
thing
get
that I
what you're paying
noticed.
for.
Yeah, like there's one thing that I noticed is that like when I was in Toronto, we used to call things club gear, which was like cheap clothing was usually club gear. So like you wore it out dancing, but you wouldn't really wear it anywhere else because the quality is not that great. Korea has like really cheap clothing that should be considered club gear because of the price, but it's like adorable. It's like a
It's
cute
life gear, son.
No, it's like a little knit dress with like bows on it and like little cherry stuff. And that stuff shouldn't be $10, but it is. So underground subway shopping or like street shopping, you can get really cheap clothing. Some of the quality is pretty cheap as well. The same goes for shoes and for earrings and for hairbands. You got the whole range of stuff to go for, but prepare to fill your suitcases with cheap everyday life club clothing.
Now, we can't cover every single living expense here in Korea. We're gonna mention some more in our blog, so if you want to find out more about it, head on over to ichikimchi.com. We'll have a blog post there about it. So that's it for this week's TLDR. If you have a question for next week's TLDR, leave your question in the comment section below.
Or check out the questions already asked in the comment section and you can thumb them up to get our attention and perhaps we will choose that one.
Or perhaps we won't. We're very whimsical that way.
Now let's enjoy our $6 cup of coffee that we purchased.
Oh boy. We're gonna need it because it's midnight and we gotta get editing.